Hiya Tom, great session yesterday mate. Just before we start to look at your golf swing, I just want to recap on what we said about your face angle and the path of the club. Obviously with being on Flight Scope we can show you exactly what's going on through impact by tracing or tracking your golf club as well as your golf ball. What we're looking for, if we're going to hit a draw, we need the ball to start to the right and then bend to the left. That's obvious. What we do however need to understand is what's happening when we hit that shot, so that if we pull it off we can repeat it, or if we overdo it, stroke hook it, we can make the correct adjustments before we get to the next tee, stroke iron shot into a left hand pin. We need the club to be pointing right to the target at impact. The club face dictates where the golf ball starts its journey. We then need a path that's swinging out to the right from in to out. That's going to bend the ball to the left. As we saw yesterday, your understanding of that was slightly skewed, because when you overdrew one, your tendency was to want to get more from the inside, and as we've just explained, if you get more from the inside, you're now going to hook it more, because you're going to enhance the amount of right to left spin you had on your previous shot. So if you overdraw one, what we need to look at in your particular instance is softening that club face up. It's the relationship between the path of your club and your face angle that's going to get the golf ball shaping the way you want it to. So what we're looking for is a club face that's slightly open to your target line but slightly shut to your path. Hopefully when you view the images that we sent over and the screenshots from Flight Scope, you'll get your head around that nicely. Now you did complain yesterday about losing your strike a little bit and overdrawing it. We gave you a drill to get back to striking it properly. Anytime you lose your strike, get back on that drill where you position a little bit more weight on your left, straighten the right leg and just hit some half stroke 3/4 shots. We then talked about doing that drill, keeping the arms straight as you come through. This is going to reduce the tendency you have to want to release the golf club. What we noticed when we got you on Flight Scope is that initially the golf club was coming in very shut, because as in the past your understanding is that in order to hit a draw you need to square the club up. However, that's not the case. We need the hands to be much more quiet through the hitting area. We take a little look at your swing, however. I mean, here's a guy who thinks that he's maybe not swinging it that well, but if we get you up here against Charlie Wee, you can see there's a lot of strong similarities in key areas. Setup's really similar, very good. You can see the first move away, left shoulder working down, as we see with Charlie Wee, left shoulder working down. If we look at that from down the line, we can see that as you take the club back, as the left shoulder works down, the arms work in. And again, if we look at this compared to Charlie Wee, he's working a little bit more, but again you can see there's some strong similarities in a couple of key areas there. If we then take you to the top, or certainly nearer to the top, good centered position, right leg lengthening nicely, left knee working in towards the ball, right hip higher than the left hip. Great position to be in. If we take Charlie Wee up to that same position in the swing, again, right hip higher than the left, right leg lengthening, left knee working out towards the ball. We then look at you from down the line, arm plane matching the shoulder plane. You can see the right leg straightened, the weight stayed centered. If we take Charlie up to the same position, again a lot of similarities in some very key areas during the backswing. You do fan it a little bit as you complete your backswing. We can work on that as we go, but overall a very good movement on the way back. Your problems arise on the way down now, Tom, because you're eager to release the golf club. There tends to be a lack of lateral movement. You straighten that left leg a little bit too quickly. You're trying it, you feel like you can release it more if you stay behind it, and as a result you can see there that there's a little bit of sort of throw the club head at it through the hitting area. Not a great deal of lateral movement, certainly not enough lateral movement. You start to move forward towards the target with the hips, but then from about here on in, the left leg starts to straighten as you attempt to release that club. As you try and release the golf club, you've got to stand up. If we look at you from down the line, as you're coming into impact, you'll tend to come out of your posture. You don't really return to that forward flexion towards the golf ball, as we see with Charlie Wee. In the early part of his downswing, he's going to return back into his address posture. See the spine now in the same position as it was at address. Your hips or pelvis is working in towards the ball too much at that point, because you're trying to prevent the club from digging in the ground. Whenever you're releasing the golf club, or whenever you're concentrating on releasing the golf club, what you're doing is you're getting rid of this angle here too quickly. As a result, the radius of your swing's expanding, and your tendency is going to be to catch the golf ball heavy and close the club face down too quickly, as you experienced yesterday. Consequently, you've got to have this sort of standing up move through impact, or as you approach impact, to compensate that. Whenever you do that, the right shoulder drops back and the arms are thrown away from you. So that drill where we're trying to keep the arms straight on the way through is going to definitely help you, because what we want to see is a much quieter move through the hitting area, where the initial part of the downswing is dominated by a forward movement of the hips, because we aren't in a rush to release that club. That will get the arms working straighter and the club working more back on the inside, keeping that club face pointing a little bit right to target at impact. You can see here with Charlie Wee, there's a much stronger move forward for longer before he then starts to straighten the leg, the lead leg just of impact. You see both arms extended. The rate at which the club head has passed the hands is not as great as what we see here with yourself. If we swing you through, you can see there that right forearm really wrapping over, and club's actually gone off the screen at this point. So again, the key aspects to work on are keeping the centre forward, but above all else, Tom, with yourself, don't release the golf club. Keep the hands quiet through the hitting area. That's going to encourage much better things in the early part of your downswing. Hopefully see you again in a couple of weeks time. Like I said, in the meantime, if you want a video of your swing, send it over at any point, feel free to do so. You're swinging it great. There's a couple of aspects that you need to box off. Once you've got them boxed off, as I said in my email last night, I think you're going to surprise a few people this season, particularly yourself. Good luck with it, and speak soon.